This is the Everything I Know podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Whitley, here to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, Senior Verde. Yeah, so I don't know. I just kind of feel like blah.
Okay, micro breaks.
Micro break. That's
Micro
what I
breaks.
need.
Yeah.
So what's a micro break?
You look at your calendar, you figure out when you don't have anything going on, and you say, okay, from 2 to 4 today, I'm going to go do nothing, or I'm going to go do this something that I really enjoy, or, yeah. So we've talked about the calendar before. I have meditation, white space, alone time, reading time. It's all on the calendar so that it actually happens.
I'm terrible looking. I'm still not married to my calendar yet.
Calendar's where it's at. The calendar is where it's at.
But, next week's Thanksgiving. So I'm kind of like, if I'm going to just like take a quick break or staycation, this is a good week to do it.
Would be. So just like you're doing okay. You've had some sales. You got some cash. Just go get a hotel for the weekend. Just get out of your house.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a change of scenery. Get out of your house. Don't go to your girlfriend's house. And just like y'all go somewhere or you go somewhere and just get away for a day or two. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Go do something you don't normally do, but that you enjoy. Right? Like I enjoy shopping for or looking, not really buying stuff, but looking at like gear, like maybe like guitar stuff or hunting stuff, or I could go to a boot store and stay all day and just try on boots and look at boots, and not like in a weird way, but just like I enjoy that. All day might be a stretch, but I don't get to do that very often. Right. So I do it so infrequently, like honestly once a year or less, then that's kind of something that I'm just going to go look at or furniture. Sometimes I like to just go look at furniture. Because, we're always doing stuff like this around the office. We're always ebbing and flowing and moving. We got a new building project coming up pretty soon. We'll talk about at some point in the future.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, I need some leather chairs. Let's go check out leather chairs. Pull into a store and just go do it, So just figure out some things like that and take some little micro breaks. But then you have to put those on your calendar. So, again, I'm just going to whip up my calendar right now.
I'm going to pretty much every day I work out at 1 o'clock.
That's not a break, dude.
Well, for me it is because I like to work out.
Okay, well that's legit.
Working out is like a hobby for me. It's like playing guitar for you.
I could dig that.
Now, if I'm doing like something where I have to run, that's not a micro break.
It's not a break. That's the boardroom calendar, so it just shows booked, which means I can't get in there. Lunch hour, and then after lunch it was meeting, meditation at 5:30. See, it's on the calendar. So I did it. I didn't like get out of that meeting and be like, what am I going to do the rest of the day? Let's go work. No, I got out of that meeting and I went, oh, meditation time. Cool. Sweet. Yeah. And it was 30 minutes long. It's done.
How do you meditate?
Me?
Yeah.
A bunch of different ways. Like sometimes I'll put on an app and just quiet, just listen to like background nature sounds and stuff like that.
And someone's like, lay back and...
No, I don't do the voiceover stuff. I just like the noise, like the crickets or the stream in the evening, or the birds chirping. And I have a thing called Nature Space. It's an app they call it holographic audio. It's really like you put headphones on, and if you close your eyes, you're there. It's weird.
How much does that cost a month?
I think it's like an
One
annual. No, like an annual.
Oh, gotcha.
And then you can download different files that are more expensive.
Yeah.
But the ones I have on there, I haven't downloaded one in probably 2 or 3 years. They're all so cool. But
maybe I just need to meditate.
Yeah, but some people put meditation in this box of like, oh, that's weird, and I don't know how to do it, and I feel weird when I do it. And it's really what it means is just to stop, pause, and think deeply and or release and just quiet your mind. Like I don't think about problems. I don't think about trouble. I use the nature sounds because I actually try to picture what's going on around me in those sounds. I see the water trickling over the rocks. I imagine what the rocks look like. I see the bird fluttering over to that tree and chirping, and then I hear the frog, and I try to find the frog in the brush. Like it's all in my head, but I do that. Yeah,
I'm only laughing because I'm picturing you as a Disney princess.
That's great. That's great. That's great. I do have long hair.
Yeah,
but I'm definitely not a princess.
No,
I might be a diva on occasion.
He wasn't in the room when I said that, was he?
What room?
I said I was a diva earlier, and you weren't in here.
Ooh, yeah. So the meditation, the quiet time, or I call it white space, that's the space that's not structured for anything. It's literally blank. And so when that pops up, it's not meditation, it's not work, it's me making a choice to do something specific that brings me joy or brings me peace or brings me calm, like reading. I like to read.
What are you reading right now?
I'm reading a book that was published in the early 90s called Einstein's Dreams. It wasn't recommended by me, but I heard somebody in a podcast just say the thing one time. They read this book called, and I was like, interesting. I'm an Einstein fan, so I went and found it. It's a novel, so it's very interesting. I'm not reading it fast. It's not a very big book, but I'm kind of reading it like 4 or 5 pages in the morning, just kind of to get my creative juices flowing, because it is very detailed, creatively written, and I think it was published in 1993. I found a copy on eBay, so yeah.
I've got 2 that I want to, like, with next week being Thanksgiving, and I am trying to like slow down a little, but not much, just for next week, because I think it'll rejuvenate me where I come out of Thanksgiving like, all right, let's kick the rest of this year down, like let's just knock it out, And so I've got 2 that I'm thinking about knocking out next week. I use Audible now because, like, if I'm driving a lot, I'd rather just listen to something productive than actually have a book in my hand, because I've become a millennial.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And so
I'm a book guy. That's why he said that. I highlight, I pen, I dog ear pages. That's what I do.
that's how it used to be until Audible.
You don't have. Everybody likes. Now here's what I do. I don't listen to audiobooks at all because I like to read.
Yeah.
So I read a lot of books, but I do listen to audio when I listen to podcasts.
Right.
So I get my audio podcasting. I like all those different versions of different shows and stuff. And I just don't do the book thing because I prefer to read. Now, I have heard some like self-narrated books people have really talked about, and they're like, dude, he's so good,
Yeah.
And so I want to listen to those.
Like Grant Cardone in Sell or Be Sold, he expands off the book and kind of gives some commentary while he's reading the book. And that's kind of cool. It's like you're getting the footnotes, but from him.
Because I started working on a book a couple months ago. No rush, but it's coming. And I'll probably
Is that what it's called?
No, I'll probably do I'll do my own audio on it. But there's a new book, not super new, but in the last couple of months, Matthew McConaughey came out with one. And he does it, but he does all the voices of all the characters in the book. And so he's doing these different dialects, mate. When he goes to Australia, he's talking like that, and all that kind of stuff. So
I forgot about that book. I need to get that one.
Yeah, Green Lights, I think it's called.
Yeah, okay.
Green Lights, yeah. Do we have a topic for anyone today? We're going to talk about goals. We kind of bounced around this calendar and books and stuff.
Being burned out.
Being burned out.
Yeah, that was just my topic.
Okay, well, what are your questions around it? Just like I'm burnt out, let's go, we're done?
You already answered them. I was like, what do you do when you're burned out? You're like, I don't get burned out. I don't need vacation. Podcast over. Thanks for telling me everything that you know.
I'm sorry. I'm just not wired that way. And I'll tell you this, it takes a toll on my relationship with my spouse and my kids. They want me to be off more. Like, let's go on vacation. I'm like, yeah, okay, But I feel like that's probably, my vacations are hard too, because we have little kids. 4.5-year-old to 13-year-old. That's a hard range of age to travel with. You got 4 of them. There's 6 of you. You have to have 2 hotel rooms, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm not the best traveler when it comes to stuff like that.
Sounds like it's exhausting to go on vacation.
It is exhausting, and I'm not a vacationer. Like, I don't take trips. I would love to go to Washington D.C. to see all the stuff, but it would take me a month because I'm not going to go here at 10 and here at 2 and here at 4 and here at 11. Like, we don't do that. We go, we get a drink, we hang out, we look at the sky. We're just like,
my favorite thing to do in DC, honestly, is in the mall, is like just chilling on the grass, right in the middle, like seeing the Capitol and you got everything else around you, people watching. That's my highlight if you go to DC.
So I think for people that like to vacation and people that like to do that kind of stuff, I definitely love it when we get there and there's good experiences. But the planning of it, I don't enjoy. The to and from part, I don't enjoy. I'm okay with flying, but I don't enjoy the trip to the airport. I don't enjoy the flight. That's not something like, that excites me. I don't enjoy the packing and the unpacking. I just like to be there, So I'm the guy that's like, hey, can we just mail all of our shit to the ski slope and like just have it in our room and somebody put it in all the little places and we just like show up. And then when we're done, I'm fine putting it back in the box and taping it up and shipping it back. Like, couldn't that be normal for us? Because we have so much crap, everybody's got a suitcase. There's 6 of us. And then we have maybe one extra. And it's just, I'm just not a big fan of that. So,
well, I know you are a big fan of like, because, first of every year you get, all your business partners together and y'all map out 2021 or the next year.
Yeah.
And so I guess that would be a productive vacation. So maybe that's something what I need is like a strategic staycation.
So what those are little strategic getaways where we separate ourselves from the day-to-day, out of the office, out of the town, out of our city, moving somewhere like Austin, Dallas. We've been to Denver. We just go away where there's a different scenery, where when you go to the restaurant, you don't run into anybody. When you're holed up in the room, you don't, you're just working. And those sessions are very mapped out. And it's like me and that party, the other partner of that entity, or 4 entities. And we separate out time, and each company has its agenda, and we literally go through all the financials, and it's structured, so there is a lot of work, but it's like, hey, it's 2:00. You want to eat lunch? Yeah. Why don't we take a break, have some lunch and a drink? Cool. We'll have some lunch and a drink. We may leave to go to a restaurant. We may order it in the room. We may go down to the pool, may go down to the lounge, but it's not this structure that we have regularly. And we're also not being inundated with texts, emails, phone calls from our day-to-day grind, because we know we've checked out. The teams know we've checked out, and they don't bother us.
I think that's what I need. I just need to like check out, but make it strategic.
Yeah.
So it's like I've got several things that I want to do for next year. And it's like I need to take advantage of that time to work on those things.
Yeah.
And then I think also too, like I've got 2 books that I'm thinking about knocking out next week on Audible. Ninja Selling, or the 10X Rule.
Okay.
2 that I'm looking at.
Cool.
I think just to kind of help me get more motivated too.
I got something for you. How old are you?
34.
Okay, I got something for you. You can knock this book out in a day. It's called 20,000 Days and Counting. Okay.
20,000 Days and Counting?
20,000 Days and Counting is the name of the book. It's all about your life and how the author's life, how many days he's been alive. And it was 20,000 days. And when that popped up in his head, he came up with this thought, I want to go away for my 20,000th day, and I want to reflect and think and strategize and push. And he did that. Well, it motivated me. I did my 15,000th day. It was like September 16th of 2015. I have pictures from it, so I could pull it up and tell you. But it was in September of like 13 or 15. I think it was 13 or something like that. My 15,000th day of life, right? And so I went away. For like 2 days, just me, in the woods, in a cabin or in a hotel. Like I moved around a little bit, and I read and I meditated and I contemplated and I strategized and I self-reflected. I wrote a bunch of letters to people. Like I wrote a letter to my dad. I wrote a letter to some other loved ones. Wrote some thoughts and just really self-reflected. But I used that benchmark of 15,000 days. So I figured out when my next big benchmark number was, and I was like 14,712. And I was like, oh, I got 298 days and I'm there. So I planned it, put it on the calendar. I looked forward to it. And I was like, how am I going to do this? What's going to go down? And so that was a real turning point for me, because it helped me kind of see where I was from, what I had accomplished, where I was heading, and just really an introspective time that I don't think as a young adult, a father and a husband, that I'd really ever experienced before. One of the most introspective times of my life. And it wasn't even 48 hours long. It was like one night, 2 days and one night. And I was back home into the grind of being a dad and a parent. I mean, a parent and a husband. So you need to look that book up. It's a real short read, and you could read it in a day, and then you could go look at what's your next benchmark. When's your day coming that's out there? You're probably in the 13,000 range already, because I think I was in my late 30s. So yeah, you could just do the math. I had a little app that told me when my day was. Like you could go forward and backwards in time, and it would tell you what the date was. And so what you want to figure out is the date of that special day. And mine was 15,000. So anyway, I have yet to get to 20,000, obviously, because that was 7 years ago. So we're not quite there, but we're in the 17, 18 range now. So that may be something that you need, right? Yeah. You've just come off a career change of a little over a year ago. You just came off of, some major life changes. You've got some major life changes coming down the pipeline. There's going to be a home buying in your experience here pretty soon. You're going to move out of an apartment into a home. You're going to do the marital thing at some point in the future.
Well, hanging on to my apartment as an office.
Sure, but you've got a lot of big stuff coming up. So it probably wouldn't hurt for you to consider something like that. And then if you execute on it, it may help. It may be that it's a micro, what I call it, a micro break, but also it's something that's more monumental instead of just like, hey, I took a break. It's like it has a purpose and you planned it and boom.
I think that's what I'm kind of like yearning for. So I'm at 12,697 days right now.
Sweet.
So 13,000 is coming up.
Do it.
Actually, 13,000 would be after next year.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
No, wait, what'd you say? 12,000 what?
12,697 days old.
So just pick a day. So do it sooner, pick 12/8 or 12/7 or 12/9, get in there close to it and just pick your own round number. Mine just happened to be
or 1/21/2021.
Something like that. Get weird, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think something like that may be better than just a micro break, go to a hotel and have some drinks, because I planned on it. I had to structure hey, babe, I got to go, and you're going to be with the kids by yourself for this time, and it's like hard and not easy. So she allowed me to do that. But at the same time, I strategized, okay, what do I want to accomplish? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And so that planning gave me that anticipation, and the anticipation pulled me through that time between then and then where you're feeling like that. And sometimes that planning and that anticipation will drag you through the grind long enough to where you are breathing, but you may not be like feeling it, but you're not feeling burned out either. Because now you have a benchmark, you have an experience coming, it's right around the corner and you're just getting excited about it. You'll get amped up. I did. Yeah. I was completely amped up. Try that. I don't remember the author, but I have the book back there if you want to pull it off the shelf and check it out and do that deal. But it's 20,000 Days and Counting for anybody else out there. It was life-changing. It's a real short read. I mean, it might have taken 4 hours to read the whole book, because it's not a bunch of pages, but it's pretty profound. The guy is an author, and it's got a real good tone to it. So it helped me. Yeah.
All right. Well, now I'm going to go away on a sabbatical.
Yeah. Yeah. Your 12,888th day.
Bam.
Bam. I like it. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Well, that sounds like something that's fun you're going to get into.
Yeah.
Tell me something that happened good for you this year, because the year's winding up, and I only want to talk about the good stuff because a lot of good stuff happened. So just give me a one or two good things that happened this year that you're excited about.
Well,
that wouldn't have happened otherwise with our situation
because of COVID.
Yeah.
So something good that happened in the midst of COVID. I think that I've learned to adapt through adversity. I think I've learned how to thrive and not just survive. And I think that's because I jumped into real estate in year one. I mean, my first full year of real estate is COVID. Yeah. And I remember, my goal this year was 3 million in sales, and we got to February, COVID happened, and I was like, maybe I need to do 1.5. Yeah. And I think I crushed my goal severely, and I came out of my shell and who I'm supposed to be as a realtor. And I learned that if you're commission driven, you're not supposed to be doing this job. Yeah. But if you're servant driven, the commission is going to follow. Yeah. And I'm seeing that transpire and how that's been very fruitful for my approach to real estate.
That was like 4 things, but I liked it.
Oh, it was all like together into one.
All one big thought.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Give me one non-business or professional related item that was a good thing from COVID. Because I've heard from a lot of people different things.
For the first time, and this is like a good follow-up to the very beginning of when we started. Because remember, I had like nothing saved up.
Yeah.
I had no budget.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And now I have 3 different accounts.
Woo.
One that's dedicated. One's my checking account that I always had.
Yeah.
One is every commission check I get, I take 25% of and put in a savings account. That's there for taxes.
Nice.
And then I have another account that's there just so I don't have my main checking account just loaded. So I actually take money out of it to go into, if you want to call it my emergency account.
Yeah, you just
or whatever,
hide it from yourself.
Yeah.
Out of
so
sight,
it's
out of
not
mind.
there for me to use on my debit card.
Yeah.
And then the debit card for that account is hidden. So we don't know where it's at. So
just throw it away.
Yeah.
Just cut it up and throw
but
it
I mean,
away.
also that really is my emergency fund because now I've got, 4 to 6 months saved up in expenses. So
Nice.
So I think that's a really good thing.
Fiscal responsibility.
Yeah. And I think back on when I had a weekly check coming from my previous employer, that was like my worst, financial immaturity, and I think I could have the amount that I saved up, I hadn't even surpassed what I was making at that job yet. And now I've surpassed what I was making at that job and I have all the savings too. So I don't have to worry about Christmas this year, and I can go into next year being prepared in case we do shut down again. I've got money saved up to take care of me.
It can totally happen.
Yeah. So I think that's setting things up for next year too.
That's good, man. We don't just employ people inside the organization and we don't just bring on people that can gain financially. We want to always bring people in and then we want to train them financially. Like we have people that work here that have serious money problems. Not serious, like about to lose their house, but money issues, money saving issues, money control issues, all that kind of stuff. And so I always throw it out there as a lifeline, like, hey, if you ever just want to sit down and go over your budget, I'll help you with that. And they go, budget? I'm like, well, let's start there. Like that's a part of who I am and how I want to help grow the team. So maybe you don't get the raise that you thought you were going to get. But we have financial coaching inside the company that will help you better manage your dollars so that the raise isn't what fixes your issues. It's how you treat your money and how it obeys you and you don't obey it. Yeah. I think that's most people's problem. They're like, well, if I can just get a raise, I'll be okay. No, your poor money habits are poor money habits and they need to be corrected or they need to be, cultivated in some way, shape, or form because so many people don't have that. Now we have a handful of people on our team that are like, man, by the book, they've got their budget, they got their stuff together, they know what's going on, and they are still like right there at the edge, but they're making progress. And that's really cool to see, But yeah, I always offer that. I offer that to anybody that wants to chime in on any of the platforms, anybody wants to, inside the organization, wants to pull my ear and say, hey, I got a question for you. Hey, can you help me with this? Abso-freaking-lutely, Because being responsible with your finances and your budget and all that stuff, if you can do that, you're going to win. Yeah. If you don't, you're not going to win, no matter how much money you make. Right. You're just going to have poor money habits with more money, and you're going to lose because you're not going to know how to control those dollars. And Dave Ramsey says, give every dollar a name. Every dollar has a name, and it all has to be controlled and done with. And so we offer that here, but that's good that you've gotten to that place. Yeah, and I think now I've got some savings. Now I don't want to just work for my money. I'm ready to get to a spot where money's working for me. And I think this year my goal was to just learn the ins and outs of real estate. I think I've done that really well. I don't know everything. I'm going to continue to learn. Each transaction is different. Next year it's kind of more getting into demographic farming and really making a name for myself in certain areas. Yeah. And then year 3, I want to start getting in investments so that I've built up money to put down on something, where I've got, a duplex or. I've given my takeaway enough times on 2020. I think it exposed a lot of people, a lot of organizations, and a lot of companies in a way that they weren't exposed before. And I think it was good. Like some of them are benefiting from being exposed and some of them are hurting because they were exposed. And I think exposed to like social things and political things where, they always were like this behind closed doors, but now it's open and everybody knows it. And so their sales suck. I mean, I think that's been one good thing that came out of this. It's almost like a cleansing, right? Like we've all been so desperate for change on so many different levels and so many different things that it's a cleansing, so to speak, like I said, of some of these organizations and some of their philosophies, and maybe it's just the philosophies of the leadership. Maybe the downline 200 employees on the books don't think that way, but that leadership team, was exposed and pushed outside of the organization. So I think that's been healthy in some regard. It's been a year of very stiff but good competition. I think if you stepped up your game this year in these conditions and were able to make it through, which is touch and go for a lot of people. I was worried in the beginning about some things. Man, I think you really made strides toward securing your foundation as an organization or as a business owner or entrepreneur, as opposed to like becoming weaker. I think if you made it through, you're 10x, another Grant Cardone fucking plug. Anyway, you're 10 times stronger. You have more wherewithal, and if you executed and that's you, kudos. I'm happy and proud of you. If you didn't, it's time to reevaluate. The year's not over. Start getting aggressive. Look towards 2021. I said all that because in 2021, we are going to blow out the media and marketing for all the organizations. You have no idea, even as an agent of 88, yet what's coming. And it's going to be like Hollywood quality media, baby. We are on point, and it's coming. Like back in the background, we're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. Here's our ideals. Here's why we're going to strategize. And you'll be brought into that. You'll know more about that soon, but I've got some ideas. Haas has got some ideas, and we're ready. We just had to build a team, so we're still building a team. But 2021 is going to be our year on the media side to like fucking just kick the door open, and people are going to be like, what? So pumped about it. Not waiting till 2021. Like we haven't just been like, okay, let's wait till 2021 and we'll kick ass. No, we're still building. And so in order for us to do what we want to do, we weren't just going to come in and half-ass it. So we're still like, okay, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. We're going to finish our steps probably sometime in February or March. And when all those steps are in place and we have all the things that we need, then we'll start producing in April and May and June, and things will start hitting the marketplace. And it's just going to be amazing. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited, especially because, we went in at the end of 2019. You're like, 2020, my word's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you called that one. So I'm glad you're a little bit more positive this time.
That's right. Oh yeah, 2021. What happens to me is I get a little sentimental towards the end of the year. I get a little bit down on myself, sometimes at the end of the year, because I had so many ideas, whether it's COVID or not, so many ideas, so many things I want to implement. I get a little bit for just a brief moment, I'm like, damn it, I didn't get that done, or I didn't get that person to come on the team, or that deal fell through. And I have those moments when I'm just like, man, but then I'm like, you know what? It's gone. And move on. 2021's coming. And I really feel like that's going to be something that helps me to navigate. But it's in those times when those future annual mantras come out of my brain, and we get results, and we get eliminate and simplify, and we get, all those things. So I'm looking forward to 2020. We'll see what happens. And not because COVID sucked and 2020 was horrible. Like I said, I learned a ton this year. I wouldn't trade anything for what I've learned this year. Like this is it this was an awesome year, some pain, but some gain too. And, I'm looking forward to 2021 just because we've got a lot of things teed up. I feel like Tiger Woods, old Tiger Woods, not the new Tiger Woods. Of course, he's still great, always the greatest, but
Well, I think we get in the next couple ones, get into like goals and, map those out and how we're going to execute those. And yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited for the next couple episodes.
Me too, man.
So I guess, if I don't see you, next time I see you will be after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving.
I'm thankful for everybody who's listening. I appreciate everything everybody's doing, and have a happy Thanksgiving. See you guys soon.
Bye.